This is most of the gear that we use on a regular basis. As I say, Toast, if you want to come over here, give me a hand too. Basically, we try to be minimum impact on the house. We can't obviously be going in there and drilling and doing things like that. So a lot of our stuff is freestanding. We had to get a little creative. You can see one of our cameras. That's the gorilla mount on the corner of the table. We have the ability to use that on door frames, lamp poles.
We had on a stair railing.
Yeah, the banister rail, that's right.
Banister, excuse me, which worked really well. What we were investigating was in particular at the top of the stairs. We managed to cover the entire stairwell by using that particular mount.
And two-way radios, so I'm still on. Just to be able to communicate between the group, obviously. Our cameras are sort of a standard issue closed circuit television, infrared night vision camera system that we hook up to a DVR recorder. We run 4 cameras simultaneously. At our central station, basically we have a typical computer monitor with the DVR. We're able to look at all 4 cameras simultaneously. We keep a log journal there so that if we have a part of our team doing a portion of the investigation in the house and they need something noted, for example, an unusual noise might have been they're doing, tripping and falling on the stairs maybe, they can radio back and say, just jot down, at this time, somebody tripped on the stairs. So if we go back through the review, we can say, okay, that strange noise was Adam tripping on the stairs, somebody.
Like the last house, the stairs we were at.
The shipbuilder's house, we were like that.
Yeah.
Ladder. Wonderful. Yeah. So we have that ability to kind of maintain that and actually see what's going on in rooms when we're not there so that we're not causing anything going on and respond to that. Some of the other things we do is in monitoring, EMF detector, K2 meter, essentially the same function, just different readout. What we're trying to do is find any sort of changes. Now in this case it's electrical or magnetic. I'm trying to think of right over here probably.
And that's a plug in. Yeah.
There you go.
Radio's
Yeah.
turned on.
So you can see where it's showing the discharge of electrical energy in the air. Now these are really good tools for finding causes on a regular basis. The Bodenham investigation, or I'm sorry, Brunswick. Brunswick, yes, that
yes.
was. One of the reports we had from that homeowner was she would see things from her bed, things in the hallway, things at the foot of her bed. It's really some scary stuff, seeing a guy walking around in a home you live alone. She was really worried, and they would disappear. These devices, these EMF detectors, help us realize that it's an older home. Some of the prior wiring in the house was still active for reasons unknown in that room's ceiling, directly over her bed. As soon as we turned one of these things on over her bed, it just buried the needle, went off, and it just wouldn't go down.
Exactly where she sleeps.
Yeah.
And a spike straight down from the attic.
And you can probably tell people about sensitivity to that sort of thing, what it can cause.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as you guys probably already know, but it's a known phenomenon, especially if you see houses or instances where people complain even to the power company of homes that are too near high tension wires. It's the same sort of effect. It's, just, topsy-turvy feelings, bad dreams, seeing things, uneasy, queasy, just electromagnetic fields can cause a lot of effects on a lot of different people. And we were getting crazy EMF spikes all over that house, unfortunately, probably from badly unshielded wiring. And probably the most vicious EMF field in the whole place was directly above her bed, of all places. And it just, to us, we're not the type that we don't just go, oh, that must be a ghost first thing. It's just not our style. We are fond of finding out and making absolutely sure and not feeling, like we're selling the person short. And honestly, after we got that kind of, reading, it's, you may or may not be sensitive to EMFs, but this was pretty intense. You might want to actually get this wire looked at because that's probably going to start a fire in your attic eventually.
Yeah, the old blown insulation in the attic too,
So.
where those exposed wires were.
So did she get the wiring fixed and the siding stopped?
She has not gotten it fixed yet. No. We keep reminding her, and it has not happened yet. And so she has continued to have, most recently it's been bad dreams, is what she's been passing along. But she has still seen and heard things in her house that she can't explain, and we're pretty sure has something to do with those wires where they haven't been fixed yet.
mean, we
So-
did have some eerie circumstances there, things like batteries draining on some of our stuff and cameras acting up, but with that much EMF, it's just so hard to say, oh, you know, you definitely got something here, because it was intense. It buried the needle, so.
I think of the 6 places we've been to, we've found reasons behind some of the things that they were reporting, at least in 2 of them. And the others, we really just didn't get anything solid enough to say, here's the smoke, you definitely have it, here it is on tape, here it is on audio, without a doubt. And that's really what we go for, is without the doubt. You know, some of the stuff we will show you a little later is from an investigation we did just this last Saturday. That is evidence we haven't thrown out yet, basically, because we haven't confirmed it or denied it. It's just kind of there. So we thought, you know, we were just reviewing this the other day. Why don't we bring it in and show everybody what we see? But for the most part, the way we run our investigation is very inbound. We pull in information. We use a lot of the common theories that you've probably heard of. Adam mentioned battery drain. That goes onto the theory of if there is something there that's an entity, it may try to use whatever available energy there is, thermal, electrical, battery, any sort of energy it can pull in to try to help manifest itself, whether that be through speaking, touching things, moving things, or just creating an air of some sort of emotion. So we watch for battery drain, we watch for temperature changes, right? We use very fast reading temperature gauges to get a read on what's going on, and you know, just try to take in all the information about what's going on. Now, with anything, we have to get a basis of comparison. So the first thing we do when we get there, after talking to the client, is get base readings. We go through the whole place and look for these things. At our recent one on Saturday, a lot of their claims had to do with a snow globe that was a music box that would play on its own in this particular corner that had a rocking chair. And the owner had these just feelings about the rocking chair being there. It was just unusual. She thought it was important to mention to us. So we really checked that out, and right away we realized there's a lot of electrical energy. I mean, our EMF detectors haven't gone off that hard before. And we found out that outside, that we sent Adam out to the other side of the wall, and it was
exactly in that spot is where the CMP power meter was coming into the house. So it was off the charts. But even though,
right,
and yes, that can cause the freeziness. There were some things that were strange. For instance, in that one location, the temperature was constantly 5 or 6 degrees lower every single time we checked the corner. I would check to the area over to the left of the room and to the right of the room. She had a wood stove roaring in there, so it was like the surface of the sun. So you had the right side of the room about 86, and then the left, which was by a window, which was around 85, 84, and then right in that spot it was 80, 78, 76, which was strange. And I did it several times in a row over an hour, and it was the same every time. That was a little weird. Also, yes, we were getting heavy EMFs right by the wall where the meter came in.
but it died pretty quick.
Exactly. You get about half a foot off the wall, and the signal would drop right down to a .1, which was pretty much the whole house. What was strange, though, is as you came away from the heavy signal, it would drop down to a .1. But then if you moved another 2 feet further in, which was right about where the seat of the rocking chair was, the base read constantly jumped up to about a .6, and would immediately go back down to .1 and .1 to the left and right of it. So it worked in tandem with the temperature gauge, which was odd. So is it EMFs? It doesn't really explain the temperature change.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have some weird footage.
The footage will show
from that
corner,
corner, so.
yeah. And again, that's an ongoing investigation. We haven't closed the book out on it yet. We haven't given her a report back. But we did get her permission, of course, to share some of this information. And that's another thing that we point out is confidentiality is paramount. We never talk about specifically who we're working with. We'll just say if it's a house or if it's a historical site and the town.
Anything that would ever show up on like our website would be
stricken of any kind of name.
Permission would be given. So
Exactly.
we're not just out there to fill Facebook up with crazy videos.
Right, or our website.
Right.
So confidentiality, we're really going to heart here. We want to address the list of things that are going on. When somebody comes to us, they want an answer, or they want validation, one way or the other. And And we try to address every concern they have or everything they noted with us. We try to hit things very hard. We hit everything with everything we've got, as far as, you know, I mean, the reports of the shadow moving across the upstairs hallway between the two children's rooms.
Yeah, at that point, we had 2 cameras that were focusing on this little bitty landing. It was, there's
4 feet maybe.
Yeah, it was
wide.
tiny,
Very
tiny.
small space.
We had cameras running on it from both angles. And at one point in the room where the youngest child had reported seeing all the shadows, we had 3 cameras, not counting the other one that was looking up the stairs, and 3 separate audio devices,
Right.
just to make sure that we don't miss anything. We want to cover things from as many angles as we can. Gives us that much more to work with, gives us that much more to potentially debunk things, to be able to explain them away if we ever want to.
For example, if we were to pick up a strange noise on one voice recorder in our review, we hear it, we listen to it a bunch of times, we check it against the video to see if we can account for it. You know, was that noise somebody shifting their weight? We can check the video to cross-reference that. If it's not, and it's unexplained after somebody's reviewed it a few times, other people in our group would review it, and then we would say, okay, well, let's listen to the other audio in the room. Try to kind of correspond everything we can, cross-reference everything. That's what we're in the process of doing with this last weekend. And as far as the time frame goes, it's a good point to bring up. If we are at a location for 4 hours, about 4 hours, we were running 4 security cameras and 3 mobile camcorders and 3 audio
I think it was
recorders.
a total of 3 audio.
Yeah, so we were
Yeah.
running, what's it, 10? That's 10 devices. That's 40 hours of footage that we have to review one at a time and against each other multiple times. So you figure a thorough review of that takes 80 hours, and we all have day jobs. So it can take a couple, 3 weeks for us to honestly come back and say we've exhausted every effort in recording things, and we've exhausted every effort in displaying everything and reviewing everything. Just try to make sure we didn't miss anything, try to really tell these guys, you know, look, we didn't see anything, we hit it really hard, but that doesn't mean it's not there, just let us, you know, and we continue a relationship, a follow-up with our clients. We check in once in a while, see how are things going,
Have you shielded the wires?
have you shielded the wires yet? Has that car been rolling across the floor again? Like the one we did in, well, the other one we did in Brunswick. We had that report where the children's toys were moving their own volition in a hallway. And that's another instance, a good example of other gear we use, which is ourselves. We are a barometer, we are a temp gauge, we are video, we are audio. We listen and feel while we're going. And we don't discount that either. We don't discount what people are saying, they're feeling, or seeing while they're with us either. The clients are usually with us. And one of the things that actually happened in that location where we were really trying to see what could have made this particular toy move in this hallway. And we had one of our investigators, the other founder, Erica, was sitting near that with her back against a wall that was between, it was basically a door frame. And on her right side was where that activity had occurred, the toy was there. We had a camcorder, I'm sorry, a security camera looking at that and another camcorder nearby on battery. And she was just talking and just kind of trying to get a feel for it, trying to see if she can get some sort of interaction. And we had a solid 3 hours of recording time on the battery life with that camcorder next to her.
Full
And that
charge.
battery died immediately, just out of nowhere, just died. At the same time, and she didn't notice that. We didn't notice it right away. But at just about that same time when we reviewed the footage was when she said, I'm getting cold. And we're like, okay, well, you're sitting on the floor. And she said, no, on my right side only, I'm getting cold. And we looked, she was getting goosebumps on her right arm and shoulder, but not her left arm, which was not the room of activity. And the temperature had dropped 3 to 5 degrees out of nowhere. And then she said, well, I don't know, I just got a weird feeling, it got cold, and now it's gone. And no sooner did she said that than our temp went right back up to the room norm. Now, did we get anything on tape? No. Did we get anything on audio at that point that might have helped? No, we didn't. We told the owner about it. You know, we let them know, we write up a report, a summary. We consider that some sort of evidence, but it's just, it's not hard copy.